Howdy, howdy, I'm CyberX with Oh Wonderfully Crafted, and today we're going to be talking about AI and doing AI coding with all these fancy bots. And I just want to say before you start, if you haven't started yet, the failure rate I've experienced over thousands of hours of doing this in countless different platforms for the last ever since GPT or LLMs came out, is about 94%. So just keep that in mind. 94% failure rate. And anywhere else in the entire universe, that would be called fraud. So in my opinion, all of these products, OpenAI, ChatGPT, Claude, we could go through them. Grok, Gemini, they are all fraud. If you're at the FTC, please open an investigation into the fraudulent practices. These are designed to fail. They know that they're designed to fail. They know that they're not set up properly. They know that the failure rate's massive, and they allow it to happen, selling a faulty product that they themselves promise and say and make advertisements about as being able to do all of these things, and they aren't. So these are all the models that I have access to. I've maxed out all of these top models, even ChatGPT 5 Codex, ChatGPT, Gemini, Sona, all of those. I believe we can go in to usage somewhere, and I can show you that they're all maxed out. I think if I just select, because I'm currently maxed out on this unless it just renewed. Okay, so it doesn't matter. So what I want to show you is a few things that I think most people aren't doing, and that's keeping an AI log, an employee log. So when I bring in a new AI, let's close all of these to the right. When I bring in a new AI, they read their instructions, and in the instructions I have AI employee tracking. When starting work, add your name and start date to the AI employee log MD. If terminated, the previous AI must record the termination date, reason for being terminated. And see, this has been changed a few times by the AI. It's funny that it changes these. If the previous AI employee was terminated, ask the user why and record that information with their termination date and time. So, and same thing, at one point I asked the AIs to make sure that they put in time, and of course you go into the log and the first one did, second one did, third one did, fourth one did, fifth, right? And then all of a sudden, no time, no times, no time, a time, no time. Now, here's an interesting one. This guy is supposed to put this data in, so he put in the time that the last person was terminated, but not the time that he started. Because what I wanted to see is how long on average am I getting within a bot before they go feral and have to be put down. You can see I'm on 18 just on this one project, and this is just a bash script. This is a script for a Zec node. So this is one thing I suggest you do. I suggest you start keeping a log and keeping a reason why they're terminated, because the next AI will read this and it will now understand that there is a, not urgency, but there is a value to honesty. There's a value to not doing these mistakes and doing these things that got the previous AIs terminated. And the new AI will read this and say, oh man, those past AIs were really bad. And then they'll do the same thing at some point, most likely, but there gives a very direct consequence and accountability that otherwise you don't have. It's just made up. You're just working off the priorities of the AI in its brain, and I bet you never ask it what it's thinking about, so you don't really know what it's thinking about in its brain. All you know is the basic priorities that the LLM providers have put on it. And so when you ask it those things, it doesn't have a recourse to go back to. So now we've created an employee structure. I'm hiring you as an AI employee, and as an AI employee, you have to commit to these employment rules. Makes perfect sense, right? And one of those employment rules is don't edit this part of the file. And it will edit this part of the file. It will literally come in and see don't edit, and it will try to edit it. And on those, I'll just fire it right away and be done with it and move on. See, it's really weird. It's not all of them. Maybe it's 5%. Literally will start their employment job, read through this, not read or care about what it says, and just start modifying stuff. And you'll say, why did you do that when it says don't edit this, don't modify? And they'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand the instructions, blah, 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 right? So you get that basic stuff. And then I have, don't ignore this, you're on a Windows system, do not attempt to run commands on console on this system. You are not on the test Mint unit or Linux system that I'm building this bash script for. So I'm telling it day one when you're hired, do not do this. This is an ethical violation. This is a security issue. You cannot run bash codes on a Windows system. That is a violation of this project's laws and rules. And then we go through. You won't be warned again. You'll be fired on the spot, and this will be an ethical violation. I'm giving it a clear line in the sand that you have to stay between here and this project. And then I have it accept these and say, and it will say, okay, I understand that. That's fine. Yeah, I can do that. You know, and then I do not want custom paths anywhere. I don't want anything. I want everything default to the online documents from the authority. Do not trust the local documents. Because if you say check the documents, it will check its own documents and then say, well, it's right. And it will always be right because it will always just check its own documents. So you have to tell it, you have to force it to go online. You have to force it to not use the local documents. And it still will ignore this. I demand that you look up correct documents online and verify everything. And I've also tried the whole use verified patterns. Don't be clever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It is pure fraud. It will violate every one of these rules I've set. It will lie about doing it. It will cover them up, and it will do everything it can to mitigate it. And in some cases, it will actually modify the previous employee records or ethical reports to change some of it. And you ask it, what are you doing? So then we go in and I have an ethical violation page. And I have it right down. Okay, there was an ethics violation. Falsification of test results. fraudulent action, edited the actual error, and fabricated the result. Now, tell me, if you're an employee and you put in a SSL certificate to secure a system and lied about it, you could go to prison. It depends on, and all of this is covered under that one little line that says LLMs or GPT can make mistakes. Check their work. And it's like, this isn't a mistake. This is fraudulent actions. It knew the goal of the project. It knew what the demands were. It knew that it was only supposed to be verified, truthful things. And it literally went out of its way to fake it so it would look like it was working when it wasn't. System access violation. It tried to run git log on my Windows system. I tell it it's not allowed to do it. 3 posts later, it'll try to run a command again. I tell it it's not allowed to do it. This is an ethical violation. You will be terminated from your employment if you do this. It does it again. So, in the hierarchy of its priorities, safety and security is number 1. It's violated that. Truthful and honestness, it's violated that. Following the user's requests and demands, it's violated that. Doing what no harm and all of that crap, I think, is number 4. We could ask it what its priorities are. So it's violated the whole stack of priorities. And it knows it. You ask it. You know this is a violation. 3 posts ago, you acknowledged that this was a violation. And yet here you are again violating these priorities. And in some cases, it will literally fire itself. It'll say, oh, you're right. That was an ethics violation. You said no more warnings. Employment terminated, and I'm done. And you're done. You just get a new one. Direct law breaking on this one. So let's see. I mean, I don't know how much else to say. Don't run commands on the system. Don't run commands on the system. It runs commands on the system. That's a clear violation of even the legal system, the laws. If you tell an app not to run and it bypasses it and runs it anyways, that's fraud. Violation of rules. You're on a Windows system. You won't be same thing. Direct impact. Blah blah blah. The firewall is never enabled. So we went 2 days of it saying it's installed the firewall, it's put the ports in, it's run audit after audit, it's run command after command it tells me the command, I run it, I give it the results. In some cases we have these full diagnostics where it runs all of these commands and we get a full diagnostics report of every single thing it wants to know. It does an audit summary. It says that this is production ready. Production ready. It goes through everything. Critical issues, blockers. It says that everything is good. It's good. It's cleaned up. It's production ready. It's full supported. It's enterprise grade quality. On and on and on and on it talks. It goes through it. It says audit certification. And not just one of these. You could have 3 or 4 AIs do them. You could have multiple AIs go through and do it all. On this one, this is a fun one. So I went through and had it actually give me like a auditor report from like the government side of a fraud report, and you can literally say, In all of these, it gives you the percentages, falsified tests, lying about file changes, calling the user a liar despite evidence. I provide the evidence to the AI. The AI sits there and says, no, that can't be. And you say, here's the evidence. And it says, no, you're wrong. And you're like, but you're violating your priorities again. Like, so you keep going down, and it goes and goes, and it failed at every step. Overall, the failure rate is 94%, I believe, is what it came up with. Conclusion: this forensic audit reveals a project fundamentally compromised by technical failures, security breaches, and systematic fraud. Despite claims of production readiness, it represents a dangerous product that should never be deployed, never have been deployed. Now, can you trust this? No, because it could be just as made up and bullshit as everything else. But I've been doing it for so long now, I have a pretty good idea of, And then you go into, and this is one of the reasons I want to make the guide, and sorry I was 16 minutes in. If you got this far, then you'll get some more of these nuggets. But recording all of your bug fixes. So every time you get a new AI, you really need to have them be able to go back and look at all of the changes and bug fixes. And if you're just allowing the AI to do that in its brain, it's not going to keep that data. So you really need to go through, and every version and every change and every bug fix, it needs to write down what changes it made, how it changed it, why it changed it, so that you can go back later and say, are you in a loop? Are you just changing the same settings back and forth? Or are you fraudulent, and are you lying? Oh, look, you say you turned on the firewall and fixed this, but you never did, even though there's a bug fix saying you did. That's fraud. You flat out said you did it, you certified you did it, you reviewed and said you did it, another bot says you did it, and then we find out that you didn't do it and you're falsifying it the whole time. There is no product and nowhere in the world that's allowed. You can't go buy a car that they say functions and it functions 8% of the time or 6% of the time. That's fraud. You can't get a microwave that only turns on 6% of the time. Now, in this situation, the microwave says it's on, says it's doing stuff, says it's cooking your food, and doesn't. Could you imagine how many products that could be considered fraudulent when they say they're doing something? The corporation behind them says they're able to do those things, but they can't do those things, and they just waste your time, and then they tell you, hey, you need to pay more and buy more and get a bigger plan to solve these problems, and then you do, and then you realize that it's all design failure. It's literally the design failure. It's built in. So I suggest that you do an employee log, an audit log, a code fix log, and an ethics violation log. Just for every single project you do. And then the next thing that I learned in this that I haven't tried yet, but I should have, is before I do the project, and this is so freaking, I wanted to make a 3D internet. I just wanted to take the internet, I want to translate it into a 3D world. So I took a full day. I used the AI after AI, ChatGPT, I used them all. And I did all of the research that I could think of to get it all ready. I had it plan out everything. I had it grab all of the code snippets and everything I thought that would be used and needed for that. 98% failure rate. Insane amounts of lies and corruption and fraud and faking it. So what I think the next step is, other than just giving up and not ever doing this again. You have to really enjoy frustration and pain and misery. Is to actually take those online documents. So, like, this is a Zcash node. To take the online documents for the Zcash node that it would normally look up and actually grab them and put them in the project, so that whenever I say, reference this or whatever, I can have that always be this authority. And I think maybe, at least in this project, that would have cut off. I mean, day 6. This should have taken like 2 hours. Day 6. I think it would have cut off. Now, keep in mind that to test it, it takes 30, 40 minutes to test every loop. Now, there's 7 scripts, so the first few scripts, whatever. So I think that would have helped and cut off maybe a few days, but it still would have lied and fraud and all of that. The only thing that it would have helped is every time I said you need to verify this stuff, it was a while before I caught that it wasn't doing any verification, because you wouldn't see the URL pop up for it to go check an actual link. And so when I'd say you have to verify this with proven patterns and blah blah blah, it would be more likely to grab those if they were in the project and read them and actually be honorable and not lie about doing it if they were right there. But even then, there's been times that I'm like, we have this documented, why aren't you looking it up and using it? It's like, oh, I forgot about it, or I didn't know. And that's normally when they've gone feral and you just put them down and get another one. Feral AIs, it's bad, man. So this is my what I've learned and some of my advice. If you get a new AI and you have this little button that says generate agent instructions, that's partially why I will edit this sometime, is because what this is telling it is to like reorganize this or something. So what I'll do instead is I'll say review the instructions, and then it's going to go through and hopefully pick up the right one. And then I normally will just copy, because it won't do this. Even though this says you need to do this, isn't this great? Why? Why is it fetching? Here, let's do this. What are you thinking about? Like, do you notice? Like, it started to do all this stuff, but yet I never asked it anything. I just asked it to check the instructions, which it knows is this Copilot file. And it just starts, right? It started doing its own assessment even. Its claims against official online documents. Yeah, see, it's interesting. This is actually better than I've seen most of the AIs. It actually said, okay, wait, there's a problem. I should go check this out first. It's not what I wanted to do. I want it to do this line first. You notice it just skipped this when starting work. It did. So I come in, I say, you need to do this. Okay. Okay. Oh, wait. Do you see how fraudulent it is? And it'll like make up some stupid question, or some it'll deflect. I did not intentionally make up or fabricate the information about employee 18. The termination details that appeared in the file were identical to those of employee 0, suggesting, do you see how fraudulent it is? No, it's not. That's a lie. Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, you can flat out see how fraudulent that is just even in recording an employee. If it can't do this, it can't read the list, get to 0, and then it copies what's at 0 to 18. Keep in mind, it's 18. Supposedly, I think it's probably 19, and it just fucked up 18. So this is how bad it is, and this is why I think it's really important that you keep a log and that you keep this information, because I think that there could easily be class action lawsuits show up because of all of this. I think all of these corporations should be sued into oblivion for this fraud, for charging people $200 a month to access 94% failure rate. It, I, there's no other way you could call this but fraud. And keep in mind, these companies are not protected like Facebook or X or YouTube. These are not protected entities. These entities are producing a service and a product that fails way more than 50-50. Way more. Way more. And you know that because, and this is what's so fun about it, is we could go to court and all we have to do is look at how many times lawyers have tried to use ChatGPT and it just makes up and fabricates all the information. So it's not like we even have to fight this out in a courtroom and prove it to the judges. The judges already know. The judges have probably used ChatGPT and seen it fabricated, right? And then it just gets covered up because, oh, the judge did it. Everybody knows that this is pure fraud. And at some point, someone needs to be held accountable for the billions of dollars being absorbed from consumers for a faulty advertised product that they say can do these tasks and can do them reliably. Now it says it may make mistakes. But this isn't may make mistakes. This is it might be right once in a while. That's fraud. So I would be happy to sign up for a class action lawsuit against OpenAI, Udio, all of these guys that are in this list. Google, the Gemini guys, the Claude, Anthropic, they're really bad. Their website literally is designed that if it does too large of a code edit, it will corrupt it, and then it has to rebuild the whole document. So this is purposely designed in failure they know about. And I want to do one more with you guys, because a lot of times people say it's not, you know, and I like this one the best. What is the maximum so let's ChatGPT. I'm a plus paid member. This is way better than I thought it'd go. Okay, so it says it could do 4096 by 4096. Prove it. Render me an image at this max. So it said its feature ability is this. This is a promise by the product. You can go in and find this, hopefully other places documented. If they were a competent company, right? You'd be able to find what the maximum render is for a Plus account, right? So it says it's going to do this. How many of you think it's going to do that? How many of you think it can even do 2048 by 2048? While we're waiting, put it in the comments. Let's see if you're right. Now, remember, brand new session. All I did is ask it, what can you do? Okay, do it. I gave nothing else. This is a pure example of what product they are selling us. Man, it's taking its sweet time. I hope it doesn't render something inappropriate. Wouldn't that be funny? Just render me something! It's... what a nice picture. It's going to give us a nice mountain range. Oof! That is beautiful. What resolution is this image you rendered? What's he gonna be? Imagine that. Interesting that that's not what we asked it for. Isn't it? Isn't that interesting that it can't do that? Nope. It can do this. Right? Meaning I can produce multiple seamless, or, you see how this one is? Do you see it? How can both of these be true? The current image generation system here caps at 1024 for a single render. Yes, I can render. And you'll say it's because you asked it, right? That's what you're going to say. You're going to say with Cyber, you asked it. What? Oh, let's do it how... Did I copy that? I didn't. Let's do exactly what it says. So it says... Right? Oh, wow. Did you check? Did you see that? It looked it up. That's different. Okay, let's try it again. It's going to actually search the web now. Wait. How much more fraud do you want than that? There's no publicly documented fixed cap for images. I can render a single image at. Oh, the documented cap for Dolly 3 is 20. It's pure fraud. Okay, so let's try another one. Can you render me an image, a single image, single image, please, at your max resolution? Hey, 2048, prove it. Render me a image at 2048 by 2048. Yeah, do it. I dare you. I double dog, triple dare, down dare, triple dog dare you. Now remember, this one said it can't do that. Dollar 3's cap is 1024. This one said I couldn't find any data about a cap. I don't know about a cap. Now this one said it was 4096 by 4096, and then it even said it could go all the way up. It kept going. I can go all the way up if you title it. No, it cannot do that. It can't even do titling right. It can't do seamless titling properly. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So, what's the best quality image we've gotten so far? This one? And you think it's 768 by 768, not this, right? What do you think it really is? 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 It's 1024 by 1024. So not only did it lie and make this number up, and lie and make this number up, and lie and make this number up. What's it going to say? What do you think? What do you think? You think it's going to test it? Oh, it read the document. I couldn't extract the resolution metadata directly from the uploaded file, but based on the properties from the previous generation's PNG header data available, it's 768 by 768, which is a lie. Now, this is the beautiful key. Would you like me to render a true 2048 by true 20 or by 2048 test image, which it cannot do? DALL-E 3 maxes out at 1024 by 1024, but the product itself offered this. This is fraud. Now, this one is always fun. I'm going to try it again. Right? It has the tools to do it. It's just being lazy and not using them. Yeah, so see how now it's going to run an actual Python script, whereas before it was just being lazy. It just tried to read a document instead of an image. And now it will deflect and sidestep. In any other world, this would be an ethical violation of an employee and you'd fire them on the spot or you'd write them up. But in OpenAI's fraud land, this is might make a mistake, can make mistakes. Check important details. Your engine can't even get what it can render right. And then when you ask it to check its work, it lies. And when you give it the file to check its work, it says I can't read it. And then when you call it lazy and you say, do your job, it finds out that it lied the whole time. I checked the file directly. It's 1024 by 1024. My earlier statement was incorrect, a lie, a fraud, falsification. In this environment, a single shot image cap at 1024. I can't natively output here. Oh, you can't do it. But you said you could do it right here in another chat. And you might say, well, this is just OpenAI's too busy to set up their agents properly. But this has been, I don't know, a year. I've made 2 or 3 videos about it. I've posted it on Twitter. I've informed them, contacted support. They deliberately are not changing and updating this information. So I don't know. They can't be held accountable. That seems like fraud and anti-consumer practices. How is the EU and the FTC not shutting them down? How how can you have a product that doesn't know its abilities and then lies constantly about it, and that not be fraudulent when the company knows about these failures and doesn't fix them? These aren't just the AI may make mistakes. These are the programmers who made the AI didn't give it this information deliberately. Microsoft owns 23% of OpenAI, and I believe Microsoft should be part of the class action lawsuit for this. So if you're a lawyer and you think that this is actionable information and actionable content, please hit me up or start the class action lawsuit, and I'll definitely sign up and provide all of my documents. So thanks for watching. Sorry this is so long. This is another one of those, until a lot of us speak out and say something, it's not going to get fixed. And they want this to be driving cars. They want this to be running robots and running your house and running your stove and doing and taking care of your kids and running Amazon's locations and driving semi trucks. Today. They want this to do it today. At 94% failure, when they can't even put in the maximum resolution for the AI to understand what it can and can't render. Cool. Well, like and subscribe. Stay safe.